What is up, Pretty Fit fam? Welcome back to another YouTube video. You guys already know by the title of the video what we're getting into today. I'm going to be going over some hip mobility exercises with you guys. So don't fret, I will be coming with an ankle mobility once my ankle is like 99.999% healed, but it is not healed just yet. So I'm going to be kind of working through some ankle mobility for myself, educating myself on some ankle mobility, and then when I come back with a better knowledge, then I will be sharing my knowledge with you all. But nonetheless, I'm still going to be going over some great hip mobility exercises just for better quality of life, longevity, better range of motion, better squat depth for my girlies who are out here lifting and powerlifting, but all the things out here lifting and doing great things. But yeah, this hip mobility exercise is going to be super great. Before we get started with the video, be sure to subscribe to the Pretty Fit Live channel. Make sure you like this video, drop a comment down below if you want to see more videos just like this. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, really quick, before we start anything, really quick disclaimer, okay? I have my fancy button, don't mind me, but really quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor, okay? I'm not a doctor. If you're watching this from anywhere, I'm not a doctor. Yes, I do have my degree in exercise science, a bachelor's degree in exercise science. That doesn't mean I am a licensed physical therapist, doctor, anything. This is going off of my own experience, off of my own knowledge, off of, not my own knowledge, but knowledge that I have gained, education that I have gained. I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly educating myself. These are things that I do in my daily routine, daily practices that help me. And I just want to share with you guys, as I'm going through my own fitness journey, what has been helping me, what is working for me. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. If you do these things and they hurt you more, stop what you're doing, go see a primary care physician or actually a doctor of physical therapy. So yeah, I just wanted to make that very clear because I'm not a doctor and I don't want you guys to think that this is actual medical information that I'm giving. I'm just sharing my educational experience, my background experience, and I just want to share the wealth with you guys because health is wealth. So with that being said, now finally let's get started. All right, you guys, so if you're at home or if you're in the gym or anywhere, you can do these exercises from literally anywhere, but I always start with some standing ones first. The very first one that I usually start with is a squat with a toe touch. So I'm gonna show you front view and I'm gonna show you kind of from a side view so you can see both angles, how it will look. And this usually helps me. This is what I start with when I teach classes, some quick mobility and just a few reps of this. So this is what it looks like. Feet about shoulder width apart, toes pointed at about a 45-degree angle. What you're gonna do, nice tall chest, squat down. I straighten my legs out and my hands go to the floor. So squat, then toe touch, and then I stand up nice and tall. Squat down, straighten my legs out, and then stand up nice and tall. So from a side view, this is what it looks like. I squat down, straighten my legs out, and then stand up nice and tall. Again, squat down, straighten my legs out, stand up nice and tall. I usually like to do those at the beginning of a class because they're a lot easier to do, especially depending on the population and the age group that are coming into my classes. They're not super easy to do because not everybody can get into a squat position, so that's not what I'm trying to say, but it's easy to get into kind of a flow of it, and as you do it, you can kind of feel the tightness not only in your hips and maybe a little bit in your quads, but also a lot in your hamstrings as you're straightening your legs back up. You can probably also loosen some tension in your lower back maybe. So that is a hip mobility exercise, but it also helps a lot of other different things as well. So that's usually the first one I do. I usually do that just for one set, usually between 10 to 15 reps, depending on how maybe tight or how good or warm I feel. So it just depends your preference, but usually 10 reps should do. just one set, especially if you couple it with a lot of other different mobility exercises before your lift. So that was number 1. Let's go to number 2. All right, you guys, on to number 2. This is another good one that you can do standing in the same place. This is gonna be a side lunge or a lateral lunge, and you can do this a couple of different ways. So usually the way I do it is I spread my legs in probably sumo squat position, so past my shoulders, so past shoulder width apart, toes still pointed out in a 45-degree angle. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my hips to one side and stand back up and reset to the middle, and then go to the other side and stand back up and reset to the middle. So I just go side to side, about 10 reps on each side. This is usually how I do it. This really helps kind of the inner thigh, hip area, that feeling sometimes where you get kind of tightness and you feel like you want to like pop it. I feel like this exercise of mobility really helps me with that kind of feeling sometimes. So side and side, because it gives you this big stretch right here that helps your hip, at least in my opinion. So also another way you could do it, which is actually an exercise, a lateral lunge, is you can step to one side and bring that same leg back into center. Same thing on the other side, step, and then come back into center to the beginning, but you have to give yourself space to step over. This way is more beginner, kind of just shifting side to side. This way is more advanced. So give those a try. And then on to number 3. All right, on to number 3. These are called hip cars. Now, kind of background story to this for me, I actually learned this when I did an internship at HCA Healthcare here in Richmond. And I learned this at my sports, it was a sports medicine internship. I just learned a lot about how to train athletes, which is not my forte, but I learned a lot and I was super grateful for the experience. It's probably one of the best internships I've ever experienced. So it was really good. I just don't really want to train athletes, and I realized that going through the internship, but I loved it a lot and I learned so many different things. And this exercise is actually one of the things that I took with me that helped my hip mobility. So these are called hip cars, and I learned it from them. So if you find a wall either at home or at the gym, find a wall or up against a squat rack, something that you can keep your one side of your hip steady while you're moving, because you really don't want to rock to the side as you're moving your legs around. You'll understand what I'm talking about when I do the exercise, but you really want to hold your body onto something that is going to keep your body upright in a straight posture while you're moving your hips. In that position, you don't want to be leaning over trying to do this exercise. So the hip car you're gonna do, I usually do between 5 to 8, sometimes 10 if I'm feeling good, but it starts to burn because you're wearing your body, like you're warming up your body. So of course it starts to burn just a little bit, but I usually do between 5 to 8, sometimes 10 if I have a leg day, of course, but I do them every single time I do a mobility routine. So this is what it looks like. So standing up against a wall, if you can, either my hand holding on or my hand in a L position like this, a 90-degree angle just like this, up against the wall to keep me steady. I go up with one leg, and sometimes you might need to give yourself space. If you're too close, then you won't be able to move anything. Give yourself some space, but try your best to stay upright. So you're gonna lift one leg up 90 degrees, push it out to the side of your body, turn your calf back, so instead of like this, back, and then push back from that direction. And then you repeat. So up, over to the side, back, and then all the way back stretched out. And that should give you a really good hip stretch. And then you can also do that in reverse. So back, bring the leg forward, turn the leg, and then rotate back in. So you can do that, in reverse, because you know how people do hip cars like this, that's kind of in the reverse, but more advanced. So you could do that. You could also just do exactly what I did. You can still hold the wall, and if all you can do is up and over, down, reset, up, over to the side, down, reset, you could do that too. That's a more beginner version. The first version that I showed you, which is what I do, is the more advanced version, but you don't have to do that. But those are just your options. So those are really, really good. Also in reverse as well. Between 5 to 10 reps, whatever you can do, and just one set. So hopefully that one helps you. Now let's go on to number 4. All right, you guys, on to number 4. So we're down on the floor now, down on the turf. If you're at home, grab your mat so you're not hurting yourself doing any of these stretches. But the next one is a kneeling kind of hamstring stretch. I usually call it like half up, half down, because one leg is down, one leg is up. And we're also gonna give our hamstrings a little bit of a stretch and some mobility as well. So this is what it looks like. So one leg up, one leg is gonna be down. Now the big issue with this is that a lot of people like to stretch and push forward like this, which may look aesthetically pleasing to the eye, but it's not really helping much. So the idea is to still push forward, but core is engaged. So you're still pushing forward and you can still feel the stretch here in your hip. So you still want to push forward slightly, but not overly pushing forward. Still pushing forward slightly, still feeling the stretch. Core is engaged, torso is nice and tall, chest is high, still slightly pushing forward. And then when you lean back into that back leg, and you can stretch out your front leg. So a couple of reps looks like this. So when I'm on this leg, show you kind of from the side position, this way, and then the other leg as well. So you're gonna slightly push forward just a little bit, then release back into the back leg, going back and forth. Because mobility is more so warming up your body, not cooling down. We're trying to wake everything up, almost. So still pushing forward, but not too much. And breathing through it. Same thing on the other leg. Still slightly pushing forward, back into that back leg, stretching out that hamstring, just warming our hips before we start any lift. And you could take it up a notch, and instead of your leg being directly in front of you, you can take your leg out to the side and do the same thing, pushing out and then coming back in. If you like, that will give you just like a lateral lunge, kind of that inner stretch in your inner thigh. And you can kind of feel that maybe pop if you need, if you kind of feel that tension in your hips. That helps me as well. So that was number 4. Since we're already down on the ground, we're gonna go right into number 5. All right, number 5. So we're already in this kind of half up, half down stance. So what I usually like to go in straight from here is World's Greatest Stretch. If you're not familiar with World's Greatest Stretch, here you go, welcome. World's Greatest Stretch, I'm gonna show you from the front and then a side view. So World's Greatest Stretch, of course, you're already in a half up, half down position. So you're gonna place, let me back up just a little bit so you can see me a little bit better. You're gonna place both hands by your feet on the ground. The hand that is closest to your foot, you're gonna raise in the air and twist your torso toward this open leg. Hand goes in the air, and you're gonna do this a few times. I usually do this about 10 times. So open, back down to the floor. Open to the sky, twisting that torso toward that open knee, and then back down. Open, and then back down. And then from the side, this is what the World's Greatest Stretch looks like. Now, if you really know the World's Greatest Stretch, you know that the back leg is propped up. You can still do it that way. But if not, you can still do with the back leg down on the floor. But from the side, this is what it looks like. Hand closest to your foot. You're gonna open and then bring it back down. Now, real World's Greatest Stretch, you bring that back foot up, open and close, open and close. And while you're down in this stretch, this gives your hips mobility, turning side to side. This also relieves some tension. This also relieves tension in your lower back. So not only is it helping your hips by being in that half up, half down position, but also while you're twisting, this is also relieving some tension in that lower back, which also is kind of not hand in hand with hip and lower back pain, is kind of hand in hand with each other, but it makes a big difference, especially when you're in the gym and you're lifting heavy weights, lower back pain, hips, and yeah, all that stuff. So definitely give that one a try. We have one more mobility stretch, you guys. Just one more. So bear with me. We only have one more left and then we're done. That's literally it for hips, okay? Just one more. All right, you guys. So as I mentioned before, I actually learned this one from my internship as well when I went to my sports medicine internship. And this one was a really good one that I take with me everywhere I go. You can literally do this from anywhere. So this is called, excuse me, I keep burping. This is called a 90-90 stretch. So both legs in a 90-degree angle, and you can put your hands behind your back, which is what I usually do to get the full range of motion in my hips. But both hands behind your back. First, you're gonna open up one leg on your heel as far as you can go, and then kind of let the other leg follow. Landing both on the ground, and then doing the same thing in the other direction as well. This is a very good hip opener. One leg opening, and then letting the other leg follow, and then doing the same thing in reverse. So definitely give that one a try. More advanced if you're really good at it. I'm not that great at it, and I really like to feel it, but you can put your hands in the air, open up one leg as far as you can first, and then let the other leg follow, but keeping a tall chest and doing it in reverse. For me, it's easier to just put my hands behind my back so I can really feel every movement in the range of motion for my hips and that, but completely up to you. Give it a try and see what feels good for you. But that is it, you guys, for my hip mobility. Hopefully this video helps a lot if you're experiencing any hip pain or lower back pain at all, hopefully, but this is not the cure. So see a doctor if this is not gonna help at all. Double tap all the way back to the beginning to see the disclaimer. See a doctor of physical therapy or your primary care physician if you are experiencing pain and none of these are helping at all, because like I said, I'm not a doctor. But yeah, hopefully for the girlies who are trying to increase their range of motion and just wanting to learn about some mobility and how to better themselves, how to better their quality of life, just how to become better each day, not only in the gym, but outside of the gym as well. So hopefully this video helps. Hope you guys liked it. Again, be sure to subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.